What's up, Axie fam? What's up? New cards. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Fancy transition. Season 2 bird card links. Learn all about the new bird cards coming for Origin Season 2. And I think somebody's knocking at my door. Lucas. If initial, select one bird card from your hand or from your discard pile or your draw pile, put it on top of your deck and then banish. Pretty simple, but if initials is mavis, it is 24 HP, but mavis is a little bit different. It doesn't reduce the cost of a card. Instead, okay, so mavis. Big changes to mavis and Robin. A lot of people are really upset about it. So mavis steals an energy shard from your opponent during your turn. 24 HP, loses 8 just like normal, but it steals shards from your opponent. Now Robin, if an attack hits your opponent, the card gains a permanent 4 damage. So Robin is kind of wonky, but it has lasting effects throughout the game. Little Owl, big changes here. Everybody's super excited about the changes to all the owls because there's 3. Just like the nuts for beast, owls have 3 cards as well. So Little Owl says deal 2 hits. So it does 20 base damage. Sorry, my thing's covering it. 20 base damage, but it says deal 2 hits. So it's doing 40, but it says whenever played, this Axie's Little Owl cards gain 1 bonus hit for the rest of the battle. So you play it, and the next Little Owl will hit for 3, so it hits for 60. Next time, it hits for 4 hits, so it hits for 80. Now, bonus hits, so we're saying 4 bonus hits plus 2 base hits, so it can hit for 6. So this can hit for 120 at max. Very, very solid. But if you have effects that increase the base damage from 20 to 23, then you're getting a lot of bonus damages from that charm or that effect, right? Ears, pink cheeks. Draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards from your hand. Unstable, 0 energy. Now, I didn't really realize the significance of the changes to these. I was just really upset about unstable being added to pink cheeks and clear. But these cards are way different. They're not discard 2, draw 2. They're draw 2, discard. Very different. So you get to draw and then discard the worst instead of discarding 2 medium cards and maybe drawing 2 crap cards that you don't need at the moment, right? So it's a lot different. It's card selection, which is much more powerful than I had initially realized. Early Bird, it says 1 energy, 30 damage, but now it does 2 hits. So now it's doing the same damage. Just cut in half and then doubled, right? Because it's hitting twice. Limit 1, draw 1. Very, very good card. Like the other ones, if you have something that increases the base damage to like 35, now it's doing 70. Right, so it's twice as effective. Little Owl, deal 2 hits whenever played. This Axie's Little Owl gain 1 bonus hit, cap of 4 bonus hits. So all the owls are the same. So Peacemaker, 1 energy, 60 damage. If the target has weak, deal 20 bonus damage. Otherwise, apply weak for 4 turns. So a little 5 damage buff, I think, because I think it was only 15 bonus damage. Curly, 1 energy, 60 damage. Used to do pure damage. It says if the target has fragile, deal 20 bonus damage. Otherwise, apply fragile for 4 turns. Risky Bird, 70 damage, 1 energy. If initial, deal 15 bonus damage and apply bleed to self for 4 turns. This is a big drawback. I think Early Bird didn't even see any play, and now it's definitely not going to be on anybody's radar. Double Talk, big change to Double Talk. 1 energy, 30 damage. Says randomly deal 2 hits. Shuffle 1 Jinx into your opponent's discard pile per unique enemy hit. 2 Jinx, 1 energy. This card is sweet. Jinx, Tadpole, Raven, Inkling. Peacemaker, 1 energy, 60 damage. If the target has weak, deal 20 bonus damage. Otherwise, apply weak for 4 turns. So, same as the other one. 5 bonus damage, right? 1 energy, 60 damage. Hungry Bird. If initial, steal 20 HP and apply heal block to self for 2 turns. So, no change here. But this is a pretty substantial amount of damage, right? And we have another Little Owl. Deal 2 hits whenever played. This Axie's Little Owls gain 1 bonus hit for the rest of the battle, cap at 4 bonus hits. Balloon, if the target has any shield, 1 energy, 60 damage. It says apply Hex for 4 turns, otherwise apply Fear for 4 turns. So if they have no, this actually makes sense, right? So if they have shield, that means they're using shields. So you want Hex on them. That way when they use a shield, they get confused, right? And if it attacks them and they don't have a shield, then it applies Fear because they're attacking and not shielding. So you would want the Fear to get the confused into their deck. Very cool. Very cool change to Balloon. 1 energy, 30 damage. Cupid, randomly deal 2 hits, apply weak for 2 turns. Ooh. I think this is very good. Still doing 60 damage. and you're applying weak. I think weak is very strong. 1 energy, 60 damage Raven. Target the closest or furthest enemy. Shuffle 1 Jinx into your opponent's discard pile. So a lot of these type of cards are reading your opponent and kind of analyzing how they play, and then picking the target based off how your opponent is playing, right? So you're ensuring that your damage is getting through and you're not attacking into any secrets. Pigeon Post, 1 energy, 55 damage. Add 1 blackmail to your opponent's hand. So no real change to Pigeon Post. 1 energy, Kingfisher. The secret says target ally, limit 1. Next time your target gets attacked, deal 85 damage to the attacker. So no change to Kingfisher whatsoever. Try Feather, big change here. 1 energy, 20 damage. It says randomly deal 3 hits, so does 60 total damage versus before is doing 75 total damage base if your opponent didn't have vulnerable. But now it says all allied Axies gain 1 feather per unique enemy hit. So it could give a total of 6 feather, right? So Try Feather is an enabler for the feather fan, and you'll see how powerful that can be here in a second. Horn cards. 70 shielding on Eggshell. It says skill. Target an ally. Apply Eggshell for 4 turns. Now, Eggshell is an effect that shields your minions, and we'll see that here in a second. Cuckoo, 1 energy. Target an ally. Apply Cuckoo. Cuckoo has a bit of a nerf, right? It makes it to where if you have the Cuckoo buff and you get hit with something that would apply sleep, instead it does not apply sleep. And then it makes it to where your next attack gets 65 bonus damage, right? Trump. Big change to Trump. 1 energy, 25 damage. Randomly deal 3 hits, so 75 damage for 1 energy. Pretty solid. Big change to Kestrel. A lot of arguments about Kestrel. I think it's okay. It's whatever. I like that it doesn't disable cards anymore, because I talked about this in the first video, that limit and stun, those type of effects were super brutal, and they were anti-new players. So people that were new, that got hit with Kestrel or got hit with Chomp, really would not understand what to do and how to play against that, because you can't. So now it says 1 energy, 50 damage. For every 2 cards played before Kestrel this turn, dispel 1 time. So when it hits the target, it dispels once, which removes 3 buffs, up to 3 buffs of the same type from the Axie, 3 feather or 3 fury or whatever. I don't know what else other buffs will have, but so if you play 6 cards and then Kestrel as your 7th, do you get 3 dispels? I guess we'll have to wait to find out. Winghorn, 2 energy, 40 damage. Randomly deal 3 hits, so it does 120. It says whenever Winghorn kills a target or hits a target with less than 60% HP, add 2 Feather Dagger to your hand. We know now that Feather Dagger is a 0 energy cost, deal 5 damage. It's not like the Feather Dagger that Momo would give us. It's not the 0 energy, 10 damage, deal 2 hits. We're not getting that. It's not powerful. It's not quite that strong. Feather Spear, big change to this. This is one of the 3 enabling cards. We have Tri-Feather, we have Feather Spear, and then we have Cloud, which we'll see here in just a second. It says Feather Spear, 1 energy, 30 damage, deal 2 hits, so 60 for 1. This Axie gains 2 feather, gain 1 bonus feather for each other spear in your deck. So I think it doesn't count it if it's in your graveyard. It doesn't count if it's in your like total deck. I think if you have them in your deck, so sometimes you'll get a bonus 1, sometimes you'll get a bonus 2. Tails, 1 energy, 65 damage, swallow. If initial, lose 20 HP and destroy up to 120 shields of the target before dealing damage. Swallow, God tier. Here's the big change up. This card is the card for playing birds, the cards for playing a feather strategy. 2 energy, 35 damage. Consume up to 3 feathers to deal 4 hits, but deal 1 bonus hit per feather consumed. So if your guy has 3 feathers, this will hit for 7 times. 7 times 25. You're hitting for like 225-ish. Pretty solid card. The last one, 1 energy, 65 damage. If this is the only attack card in your hand, deal 25 bonus damage. That's a lot of bonus damage. You're doing like 110, probably more. Cloud, this is the 3rd enabler that I mentioned just a second ago. 0 energy, says target ally, grant 2 feather. And we have a charm that can go on this to make it grant 4 total. Can't wait for that. So you have a double Cloud Feather Fan team. Clouds to enable your midliner with Feather Fan. And then you have Tri-Feathers on your Axie. So Tri-Feather, Cloud, and then Feather Lunge. Those 3 abilities on 2 Axies would enable your Feather Fan Axie to just annihilate. Grandma's Fan, 1 energy, 20 damage, attack all enemies. All allied Axies gain 2 feather. So this is a 4th enabler, but I guess you get a guaranteed 2 feather on each other. The big benefit to Cloud is a 0 cost. So that really changes the dynamics of all the Axies with Cloud. Post-fight, 90 damage. This Axie loses 20 HP. So pretty strong card. 90 is a lot. With runes and charms, you're hitting for like 115, 125. All right, so here's the changes we talked about. Mavis, bird, 24 HP. When your turn starts, gain 1 energy fragment. When your turn ends, your opponent loses 1 energy fragment. And the Mavis loses 8 HP. Little Robin says bird, 24 HP. Upon dying, deal, I forgot about that as a death trigger. So upon dying, deal 4 damage to all enemies. After the turn summon, whenever an ally deals a direct hit, increase the damage by 4, capped at 100 damage. When your turn ends, Robin loses 8 HP. So I think that damage that it gives, if it does deal unblocked damage, so as to attack an Axie and it not hit shield. If it hits a shielded Axie, it does not get the +4 damage. But think about all the birds, right? Robin, and you have all these multi-hits, right? You have little owls, 3 little owls, being able to hit like 6 times, but they have a trigger that happens from the Robin every time. So Robin and Featherfan, like Winghorn, all the multi-hits, little owls, I think there's something happening there that's very interesting. I'm calling this, I have dubbed this deck, I'm trying to get this a thing, it's death by 1,000 scratches. Right? Because you don't do much damage, but you just hit so many times. These are the other changes. Eggshell. At the end of your turn, all allied summons gain 25 shield. So the egg bomb gives itself 70 shield. Doesn't apply the aroma anymore, but now it shields your little summons and stuff. Cuckoo. Either the next time sleep is applied to this Axie, prevent it, or this Axie's next single attack deals 65 bonus damage. I don't know, because this doesn't really synergize with birds, because they have so many multi-hits. When you use it, it should make the first hit from a multi-hit get the 65 bonus. Prevent my guy from getting put to sleep for 1 energy. Feather, deal 1 bonus damage per hit. Here's the big change, right? All these multi-hit attacks on birds. Deal 1 bonus damage per hit. Whenever this Axie hits a target, increase the bonus damage by 1 per feather. So it goes to 2 damage per feather. When this Axie has no feathers, the bonus damage is reset to 0. When your turn ends, if this Axie used an attack, it loses 1 feather. Max feather stacks is 10. If it attacks 4 times in a turn, it only loses 1 feather at the end step. So kind of a buff there, because it used to like burn all your stuff. Because now you want 10 feathers to stay on your Axie all the time, because then it's doing a bonus 1 times 10, and then a bonus 2 times 10, and then a bonus 3 times 10, and you're hitting each time. So in the case of Little Owl, if you have 10 feathers, the first one would do 20, and it would trigger the feather. The bonus damage would go to 2, and then it would get 20 bonus damage to the next hit. So it would do 20 plus 1 times 10, so it does 30 for the first hit of Little Owl. Then it would do 20 plus 10 times 2. So to do 40. But then your next Little Owl is going to get 30 bonus damage from 10 feathers for the first hit, 40 for the second, 50 for the next. It could get out of hand. If a bird has 10 feathers for a turn and they play like 3 multi-hit attacks, I believe Feather and Robin both trigger each individual hit, not each card played, right? Feather Dagger is a tool card. It says retain and banish, 0 energy, 5 damage. This card belongs to the Axie that created it. So if the Axie dies while that card is your hand, I think it disappears. So just a lot of things to think about. Lot of stuff, lot of changes. What do you think? What's the most exciting thing to happen with the birds? Imagine those little owls hitting for 60, and then they're hitting for 80. And then they can hit a total of what? 2 plus 4 bonus? So 6. So it's hitting for 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80 bonus damage from the 10 feather procs. I don't know. You could the death by 1,000 scratches. Anyways, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video. I think Beast is next, so that's pretty exciting. Oh, bring on the beast.